Hello and welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to use our prefab system to place buildings and to try and populate our scene a bit more. So if we go to the roll-up bar and go to objects, and here in prefabs we have the list of all the buildings that we use in Miscreated, and there's also other collections of objects in this. So what a prefab is just a collection of objects and entities that just make up a complete building or a complete pile of rubbish. We use it for all sorts of different things, and this is our entire library for all of those. It's a lot better if you use these for buildings rather than picking them out from the brush, because they'll all be in different pieces. They'll have no furniture, they won't have the spawn points, they won't have the sound entities in them or anything. Whereas this has them all. So we're going to go log cabin or something. Maybe we want a log cabin in our little scene here. So we maybe want one around there. So I search for log, and there's a file called log cabins, and I like the new ones. There's cabin 1, cabin 2. They're just two different variations of each one. So let's get number 1 in, and we'll make sure that it's following terrain. Maybe where do we want to put this? Let's say let's put it here. So we can go to move it around. We can change, this is on view, we can change it onto local. So it's locally, the axis are local. You can change it to world. So world is basically the same as view, which is the world origins, and it moves it on, but it's good to just keep it on local when you're, it's good to switch between. It depends what you want or what you need at the time, but local's good for when you're placing objects. Maybe we want to put it around here. You see, this is one object with all of the item spawner cones in there already, all the interactive elements, and all the furniture, and all the detail that you would see in Miscreated. I can go through another video and dissect a prefab and show you how to make your own as well. But in this one, we're just gonna use them just to populate our scene, and some other tools as well to just generally dress up the area. Now it's kind of on a hill, so maybe we want to flatten out this land here. So go to our terrain tools again, modify, get our flatten tool. For control, we want it about the height of this step here, so get it there. Away we go. It's on the ground. Flatten that. Flatten this here. There we go. It's cool. Now it's on a flat ground for us. There you go. Another cool tip when you're using the terrain tools is if you want to quickly go to smooth tool while you're flattening out terrain. So if I flatten out here, got this edge, or maybe I want to smooth it a bit. If you hold down the left shift button, that switches to a smooth tool, and we could just go smooth. So flatten, good. Just makes it a lot quicker to switch between your different tools that you want to use to manipulate the terrain. Maybe we want more grass around here as well. Cool. We do have grass underneath here. Maybe I want to get rid of that as well. So I can select that grass, hold control to do remove, and just remove all the grass underneath here. There's just no need to have extra information in places that players will never see. It's just not efficient enough. It's not good. It's not good practice. It's messy. Okay. Right. I always constantly save as well, so Control S to save. Never know, you don't want to lose any work that you've already done. Right. Now that we got the log cabin in, maybe we want a little driveway or a road and some path work to lay out the grounds for this. So if we go back to our roll-up bar, go to objects, and then misc, road, and we want it to follow terrain again. And this is just like the river tool I showed in the previous video, where you just click and you've got another point. So where do you want your second point? We want another second point, maybe over here. We want our road to just go off, maybe down this way. And maybe over the hill. You can change your camera speed over here. So if I want to go over there very quickly, I can just change the speed of the camera to 10. Or maybe go faster to over here. You know, 1, and then if you really want it slow, 0.1. If you really want it slow, you can change the value here. Oh, 10 is very fast. So we want this a bit of a width to it, and say about 8. 8's probably a good number. Now, if I've made a mistake on this road, and like here, maybe I want this to raise a bit in the middle here. So I need to create a new point where I can raise and lower the road in that particular area. I can hold Control, click, if I can get it. No, it's Edit. I make mistakes sometimes. It's in the roll-up bar, it's on the properties, there's Edit, and now you can see that they're all green. Now we can edit the shape of our road. We can hold Control and click on a point on the road, and that'll create a new node. Can change our road. So just Control click on a point, and then you get another node. If you want to delete one, you can just double click it and it deletes it. Maybe we make this a bit. No, I think 8. Let's keep it on 8. Now you can see it's just got this, we call it the replace me texture. It's just the default, I haven't got a texture, please give me one. So we need to give this a texture. So we go back to our material editor, which is here. I'm gonna search for road. And we have materials roads. No, not that one. Here we go. The terrain roads. And we want maybe a dirt road. I don't like that one. Get a different one. That's pretty good. Let's stick with this one. Let's stick with this one. Excuse me. So next what we want to do is, as you can see, it's quite squished again, just like our river. We want to change the tile length. So the tile length on a road is important. So this, we want it 8. Want it more, 16. That just makes the texture stretched a bit more to where it actually looks, you know, acceptable. Now the great thing about this tool is once you've drawn your road out, you want the road to be flat so we can drive on it. Right now it's just painting over the terrain that we have already. So that's where this button comes in place. This modify world on the details of this object. and click Align Height Map. Now we'll align the height map to our road. And maybe we want an angle on one point, so we can click on that. We can change the angle, align height map, and that will change the angle as well. It's kind of good if you want to make like a dirt track or something, have like a bank turn into it, or if you have a mountain road, they all slightly have bank turns in it. You can really go into detail and make like some bank turns into these roads if you wish. Which I find is quite a nice little detail to do to your roads. Okay. So maybe we want the grass more on the side of the roads. So we're using our merged grass again. Going all along the road. Oh, don't worry if you place vegetation on your road. This is where the magic happens. Now this only works with placed vegetation and not procedural vegetation using the terrain layer painting. So we got our road, but we got all this grass on it now. Unfortunate. And it's a hell of a lot of work just to go in there and just delete it manually yourself. So if we click on our road again, so we go back to our objects tab, so we can select objects again, click on our road. Then we've got these two values here. Now there's erase veg width, so how much width from the road to be erased, basically. So this is on 3 right now, so it'll be 3 out here, and it'll get rid of grass from here to here. And then you can do a variation as well, so you can have it vary along the road, so it's not all completely straight lined and neat. You can have a variation, so maybe we put a variation of 2, and I want a width of 1 maybe, and we just click erase vegetation, and look at that, our road is now clean and free of grass. This will delete any vegetation object that's on the road. So maybe if it was a bush, there's a lot of bushes, but maybe if it was a bush, maybe I had some bushes that go along the side of my road, and I want to get rid of the ones that are on the road. Click on here, erase vegetation. And it's cleared it all up for me. Now, like I said before, it doesn't work with the layer painter procedural grass, long procedural grass. This will not get rid of it using the erase vegetation tool on the road. The way you want to get rid of procedural grass is to paint another texture without procedural grass underneath it. So maybe we want, make this kind of rocky. See, I get rid, just deletes all the procedural grass by just painting another terrain texture where it doesn't grow on. So if you've used procedural grass everywhere, you would have to paint under the roads, and it's always good to paint under the roads anyway with the texture you want, because then the sound information of the terrain texture will come through. So when you do footsteps on concrete, you know, it'll be concrete if you paint a concrete texture underneath the road, because these roads don't carry any sound information. We kind of want this a kind of a gravelly sound, so I'm kind of painting this kind of gravel texture on it. And if it was, you know, asphalt, I would paint the asphalt texture underneath it. And this also applies for vehicle physics as well, because the vehicles, the physics on the vehicles change depending on what surface type they're driving on. So if it's like wet mud or something, it tends to be more slippery. If it's concrete or asphalt, it's a lot more grippy. And so this is all defined by layer painting. So that'll do for now, actually. So we got our road leading up to our house. Maybe we want a little path. I'll show you again. Misc, road, conform to terrain, beep, click, click, click. And maybe for this, I would like, there's one called cobblestone. Cobblestone. Really nice. Yeah, I don't want the width, vegetation width erased very much. Yeah, I like. Maybe I'll just paint like that. That's how you do roads. So maybe we want some fences or some other props to make this look a bit more realistic. We can go to our roller bar objects brush and look for fences. I like the junkyard fence, really nice. Maybe I want it aligned with this building. So instead of trying to rotate it and match it, I want it straight. I want it straight up here and straight around there, make it like a box or something. I can click on my fence and then I can click on align selection to object, which is this, on my building. Go back to move tool and move, rotate. Angle snapping turned on as well. I can also do grid snapping as well. And you can change the different grid sizes here. Clicking this little thing. Same with angle snap as well. Get the fence. Do it in the y-axis. Look it like that. We want to raise this bit up and this bit up as well. Got a little fence. There's one way to do a fence, but there's also a spline distributor. So you go misc, spline distributor, conform it to terrain, and just like the road tool, click out the points. There we go, brush. Maybe we want, I don't know, farm fence. Original. So maybe we want this object to follow this spline. And get that, and we can copy the path to the geometry path here, Control C. Then we change it in our geometry field here, Control V into that, press enter, and we have a fence that's following this spline. Then we want to change the Z angle. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, maybe the other way, maybe 180. No, what am I saying? Anyway, let's do 90. And change the step size so they come closer together. And voila. In the ground a little bit. That's one quick way of doing a fence. It's a lot easier to do it like that than hand placing each section of it. You can just use a spline and draw it out and then apply the object to it. There's some problems with the spline tool, is that it's all dependent on the origin point of the object, and if you do extreme curves and turns, you might have breaks or gaps in your fence as well. So you can use it in conjunction with just hand placing as well. If you want a nice curve, it's probably best to hand place it. It will take a lot of time, but you get better, neater results. So that's our little fence with the spline tool, our prefab with the prefab tool, and our road with the road tool. Maybe we want another prefab in there. Maybe we want a broken down vehicle. So I don't know, vehicles. Abandoned vehicles. Maybe we want a truck. Nice green grown truck. There we go. Now maybe I want to, because this is quite on a hill here, just a little bit of a hill, and I don't want to spend ages rotating the object to match the hill. I can just hold down, I think it's Control Shift Alt and then click. Yeah. Let's click on follow terrain, Control Shift Alt, click. That aligns it to the terrain. Turn off the vegetation. There we go. You see? It aligns it to terrain. It's a lot easier than me dragging out the same car, putting it here, and having to go, oh, rotate, 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 then move it down. And I can just click it. So Control, left shift, and Alt. Click, click, click. Very handy if you're going to do a lot of cars on the streets or something. You just click them around like that. Super useful. Maybe we want some bushes and stuff around here as well. Little bushes. Fence. Maybe an apple tree as well, or a different tree. Oak tree. Maybe some flowers. Okay, we got kind of getting somewhere with this. I know it's not perfect, but we're kind of getting somewhere where it's looking more like a, a level with some stuff in it. Maybe we want some birds flying around or some butterflies flying around. That's super easy to add. You just go to our Objects tab, and it's Archetype Entity. And I already have all the animals and little critters loaded in already. So we can go to our animals, and then we've got fish, frogs, insects, rats, snakes, birds. Oh, I want some birds. I want some pigeons. A 12-meter area. Up in the air again. If you don't see them immediately, sometimes you have to kind of zoom out and zoom in, and then they spawn. Got some birds. Get some insects. We get some blue butterflies because I like blue butterflies. Again. Oh, there they are. Maybe it's a bit hard to see, but they are there. Everyone's favorite. There we go. Now it's looking a bit more alive, which is really nice. I don't like this kind of rock at the back here, so we're going to replace it with some rock. So I think there's one called rock. I like using this one, rock bridge middle. So we can go rotate, we can rotate it into position. Sink it in, Control C to copy an object. Super useful if you're doing rocks, you know, Control C. I've got my rock. Want it here. I want another one. Yeah. Another one over here. Rotate them to make them look a little different. Maybe one more just here. Got a nice little rock wall, which looks a million times better than the terrain texture. No, I've already started doing some of the cliff here. Maybe I can finish that as well. So I can get the cliff. Now you can use the scale tool. Scale. However, this kind of ruins the physics proxy of the object, which means players probably could walk inside and hide within the rock because each object has its own physics properties, which is a separate mesh. So if you do encounter people walking through objects or sneak hiding in rocks, it's probably because it's been scaled. Maybe for this one, I'm just going to scale it anyway, be a bit naughty. Aha. Just to speed up, just kind of show you, because I could spend ages doing like cliffs and rocks. I spent absolutely ages doing this. Nice little rock background over here as well. There's quite a few different types of rocks we have, as well as like cliff wall. Cliff wall's a good one. I like this one because you can rotate it on its side as well. It's like this. Kind of make a wall round. You can just fill up this gorge here as well. Give it some more detail. Maybe some more boulders or something. Like limestone. Like a collection of boulders. And again, we can use Control Shift Alt and align it to terrain. So I can get, I want that one. There's another one. Get this one. And it's, see the rocks are kind of floating a bit. Like here. Control Shift Alt, make sure it's on conform to terrain, follow terrain, click. There you go. You can sink it in the ground a little bit if you want, or whatever. Put more bushes over here. So those bush campers are big bushes. That's a lot of bushes, but and there we go. And if we want to change the time of day just to see what it looks like in sunset, because everyone loves a good sunset, we can go to terrain, lighting. This is where you can change the sun position and the time. Our lighting system is completely real time, and it's completely real time in the editor as well. So if you want to see something at sunset, what it looks like, set it to sunset, you can see what it looks like. Maybe we don't want to see these cones as well. Maybe I want to take a nice screenshot. I can go into the console, so you can even press I think it's view, open, wrong button. View, open, and then there's open plane view, and I think it's in here. Oh, maybe wrong. I always forget where it is because I always know the shortcut. Usually it's at the bottom anyway. So there's the console. You can type in ISM cones underscore hide. And that will hide all of the spawner cones. So we can take some screenshots maybe. Without all that gameplay stuff in the way. Okay. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for there. There's a lot more other things we can do to add more detail to these areas. We could even add, if we go misc decal, show this very quickly, and we can put that onto the ground. And this is how we also do graffiti as well. We change that to project onto terrain. Maybe I want to make it a puddle. I'm going to go on material editor, search for puddle. Make sure we have it selected. And then nice water puddle. Use this one. And then apply material, which is this button. You can take away the material using that, or you can apply it like that. Or you can get material by clicking that. So if I clicked on this decal and I want to know what material that is, I can click this button and it will show me in the material view. That's my puddle. We can go to scale, we can change the scale of it, rotate it a bit, move it a bit. That's how you have a puddle on the ground. There's also all sorts of different decals for dirt, graffiti, and you can project them onto the wall. So if we want to graffiti on the wall, let's just copy this one. You can do that. Click reorientate, hold control. That will snap it to any surface. Now we've got that. Back into our material editor. Graffiti. Let's just use this one. Now you can't see it because I've selected on project on terrain, so they only project onto terrain. We want it on static objects. Project on static objects. Or we can click deferred as well. Deferred is probably best. And we can rotate that. Scale it a bit. That's projected onto the side of our building here, this graffiti. You can change the projection depth. So maybe, for example, because it's on 1, maybe I don't want it to project onto that door, but I only want it to project onto this wall. I change the depth here. Let's say it's 0.1. There we go. So it excludes the door. It doesn't project all the way through there and only onto the wall. That's really good if you want to put, say this is in front of it, this object's in front of it, and want to keep it behind it and not project onto this object, you would change the depth here, the projection depth. There you go. We got some graffiti. Make it look all lived in a bit. And now that's where I'm going to leave it. I'll probably talk more about this in other videos, but yeah, that's pretty much how you detail your scene. And use the prefabs tool, the little animals and critters and how you get those, the road tool, and the spline tool as well. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.